We have an interesting question today, Richard, about birth names and the significance we attach to birth names. Here's the question. I attach little to no significance to my birth name. You could call me Phil, Kathy, Patrick, or Stella. It doesn't matter to me. Have I missed something?
I'd be curious to ask you about the aversion. I mean, the aversion is surely of interest or important. It's important to see. You can change your name, or you can assume a religious or a spiritual title, or you can change your name for whatever reason because you kind of resonate with things. And we know, of course, that sounds resonate on different kinds of frequencies, and if you have a sharp name, a soft name, a strong name, and all this kind of thing. But perhaps the thing that draws my attention about the question is, and reminds me of, some of us who change our name because of an aversion to the family, to our biological origins in some way. And so that it may be symbolic, the idea of not accepting, I'm called Richard, in my case, you're called Robert, of not accepting the biological origins of life. And of course, if you don't accept them, just the same as if you do accept them, you're not free of them. So it's very important to look at your attraction or aversion to your early life, the storehouse of retained emotions and attachments about your early life. And probably, I think I'd go this far, if you have rejected the given birth name, in a sense, you've kind of rejected the birth, you see. It's symbolic of something. It's a kind of labeling, but of course it happened very soon after you emerged. So what does it signify? That's what we need to ask so often, is not what's the thing itself. What about the guy who wants to give up smoking? What about the guy who wants to give up hard drugs? Or we don't think we should watch so many movies, or we feel like we're addicted to this, that, or the other. Don't worry too much about it. What does it signify? What is it symbolizing? What's happening inside us, of which this is somehow symptomatic of a deeper unrest, you say? So with the naming thing, I would probably, if you were in front of me to the questioner, I'd ask you just quietly about early life, about your parents, about the conditions of life as you remember it, your earlier memories, and see, is there not an aversion there that is then represented in this lackadaisical, you can call me anything you like, which itself sounds like a rejection of the name under a kind of blanket of, I don't really care. Probably you do care, and probably you're rejecting your name. And if you're rejecting birth itself, of course, that's very tragic. I mean, it's very sad, because you're rejecting this opportunity to grow in freedom and realize your divine nature. So it doesn't get better than that. So let's not throw the baby out with the bathwater. Many of us have had difficulties in, forgive the pun, many of us have had difficulties in early life, but let's just remember that suffering is a way of love drawing attention to itself, which means that only those of us who suffered mostly are blessed with the opportunity, out of necessity, because otherwise we would have been so incredibly unhappy, we rise to the challenge to heal. And as we heal, so the doors open further into ever higher realms for us to engage in, which is a wonderful thing. So, in time, even the aversions, even that which we look back and say that was awful, even sometimes the most atrocious childhood or early family experiences, or if not family, just something that happened to us in early life, or patterns of even violence and anger and hate and so on, we can turn them because they've motivated us to do something with ourselves, to look inside, to look deeper, and to transform ourselves in some way. And that will happen in time, even in the most challenging of circumstances. So look for the signs, and I strongly suspect that this questioner is symbolically saying, I just don't really care, and you should care, because you're care worthy. You're care worthy. So the name thing is often, not always, but is often a symbol of a deeper rejection.
Thank you.